of negative news around Cambodia. I remember I would take Grab taxis everywhere because I was too scared to ride a tuk-tuk. People around me who were saying like, oh, are you sure you want to move to Cambodia? I heard it's not safe. Moving to Cambodia, I've actually been able to save a bit more money. I was a workaholic. When I moved to Cambodia, it's a bit weird when people stop work when work stops. You don't stop until the work is done. One of the things that surprised me, everyone started working while they were still in university. Now I've learned to relax. Rent is a bit pricey here, to be honest. Some makeup brands are not available here. I like how easy it is to explore Cambodia. The Cambodian people are super friendly and helpful, still respectful. I think in Cambodia, I feel like everyone's smiling. It looks like the Philippines, it feels like the Philippines, it's just that the language is different.
Meet Kyra from the Philippines. She's the marketing director at Tribe Phnom Penh, a 4-star hotel. Today she shared her 3 years of experience living in Cambodia, working with Cambodians, and why she enjoys it here. In today's video's location, we are in Tribe. Why Cambodia?
To be honest, I had no plans of moving to Cambodia initially. In 2021, I got offered the job in Cambodia, and I thought, why not? It was the middle of COVID in the Philippines. I, needed a change. I wanted to find another job outside the Philippines as well. I wanted to experience working abroad. So when I got offered the job here, and it was not for hotel at that time. When I first moved here, I was working for a university.
As a teacher?
No, I was doing marketing for a group that had a university and other educational assistants and a hospital. So I was doing marketing for the group, basically, which was also a challenge because I have never been in that industry before. I was up for the challenge. I wanted to see if I could do it. I wanted to challenge myself that different industry, different country, different culture, different language. Let's see if I can do it. And yeah, I was able to. But in the end, hospitality is my passion. So as soon as I learned that there was an opening here, I decided to try and got the job.
Is it your first time moving to abroad?
Yes, it is. So prior to here, I was just working in the Philippines. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Philippines, but I used to live in this city called Cebu. Cebu is where I'm from. Cebu has all the beautiful beaches. I moved from Cebu to Manila, and prior to moving to Cambodia, I was working in Manila for the last, I think, 8 years. But I've always been, looking into or wanting to move and work abroad. I wanted to expand my horizons, expand my career. As someone who works in hospitality, there are quite a few opportunities. I'm glad I finally got the opportunity to work abroad, even if initially it wasn't for the hospitality industry. But it was still a good opportunity I couldn't pass out on.
What do the Filipinos know about Cambodia?
Very good question. Actually, funny story. When I told my parents that I had accepted a job in Cambodia, the first thing my dad did was Google where is Cambodia. Unfortunately, the Philippines are maybe just the people I interact with. I'm not sure. The most we know about Cambodia is about Angkor Wat. I knew about Angkor Wat. I knew about the Khmer Rouge, because we studied it in school. I knew about the killing fields, but mostly because of the movie, The Killing Fields. But not much. I didn't really know much about Cambodia. In the Philippines, when I talk to other people and I tell them that I was moving to Cambodia or I had moved to Cambodia, they were all, how is it like there? Do you see the temple every time you go out? And I have to explain to them that, Cambodia is not just Angkor Wat. Cambodia is not just Siem Reap. There's so many other beautiful places in Cambodia. Phnom Penh itself, although it's the most, let's say, urban of all the cities, it's still beautiful in its own way. I have to kind of, as being in the hospitality and tourism industry, I kind of have to sell Cambodia to them also and share a bit more about what I experience here, what I get to see here, the culture here. The most prominent thing the Philippines, I don't want to generalize, but like the people around me know about Cambodia is Angkor Wat. That's it.
Coming to Cambodia, like, what is your first impression when you moved here?
Very similar to the Philippines. So before I moved here, I did, of course, a lot of research about Cambodia. And there was a bit of negative impressions at first. I was okay, but I arrived in the middle of COVID. So my first impression of Cambodia was having to do all the testing in the airport, all the restrictions. I had to go to a quarantine hotel. So my first 15 days technically in Cambodia, I was stuck in my room because COVID, right? And there was a bit of negative news around Cambodia at that time. So as being a woman moving to an unfamiliar country, unfamiliar culture, unfamiliar language in the middle of COVID, it was a little bit scary, to be honest. I remember I would take Grab taxis everywhere because I was too scared to ride a tuk-tuk. But that's me being protective of myself, I guess. But later on, I realized, there's nothing unsafe about it. It was just unfamiliar.
When you're scared for
I know, but if you can imagine, in the Philippines, this is again, during COVID, right? And in the Philippines, during COVID, we were all stuck inside. There was no going out. I would go out only to do the groceries, basically. Especially in Manila, they were very strict with quarantine. So when I moved here, that was kind of the first time that I could actually move around in a long time. I felt very uncomfortable going around at first because I was so used to staying inside. If I go around and I don't know where I'm going, I don't know how to give directions, I don't know how to say, take me somewhere. So it was a little bit scary, but once I got used to being in Cambodia, once I started working, especially here, and I got to meet some of my colleagues who had been here a bit longer, and they took me around and everything. So I started to relax and it's similar to the Philippines. It's just like I'm home. So just that instead of taking taxis everywhere, I can take a tuk-tuk and it's much more convenient, actually.
Do you have any specific reason why you were scared at that time? Any reason why you were really scared?
I think it was because of some of the news articles I read about Cambodia and because I did watch a lot of YouTube videos about Cambodia. I read a lot of articles or vlogs about Cambodia, just so that it was a new country. So I didn't really know what to expect. But there was some people around me who were saying oh, are you sure you want to move to Cambodia? I heard it's not safe and all that. So that was in my head. A lot of other articles also that said Cambodia is safe. Cambodia said the opposite of what other people were telling me. And the people who I was working with, they said Cambodia is very safe. It's just like any other country. You just have to watch yourself.
Plus,
yeah.
You need to protect yourself also.
Yeah.
In that way, even if it's super safe, this country, you need to watch out also.
Yeah. I think it was more me personally also, because I've thought about this. It is a little bit more about myself because, again, I was coming from being scared of COVID, being scared of going out, being scared of a lot of things during COVID, right? Back in the Philippines, I was living alone. So can you imagine months and months and months I'm just on my own. So to actually move somewhere new was exciting because at least I could get out, right? But at the same time scary because my head was just messing with me and telling me oh, you're moving to a new country. What if something happens to you? Well, who's gonna take care of you? Stuff like that. I think some of the other expats I know who have moved here on their own, like without family or anything, that's one of the concerns also, right? Like, okay, so I'm moving to a new country. I don't know anyone there. I don't have family there. If anything happens to me, what's gonna happen? So my overthinking brain just like went extra overthinking.
I think he's also been being very careful, also try to be safe
Yeah.
as a new person in new country.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but staying here for 3 years.
Yeah.
Looking back, how you try so much to protect yourself.
Oh, now I'm good. No, it did, it took a while to get used to my new life here. There were some, can you imagine, like I've lived here 3 years, right? I'm now on my, wait, 1, 2, 3. I'm now on my 4th apartment in 3 years. Can you imagine? This is how crazy sometimes I can get about my safety. But I think, I just needed to find a place where I felt safe, secure, comfortable, where I knew that if anything happened to me in the middle of the night, there was somebody I could call, like the security, hopefully, who can assist me. Now that I've been living where I am now for more than a year now, actually, my longest time yet so far. Yeah, I think I look back at that time and I'm just like, I was too protective of myself. Yeah. But I mean I only have myself, right? So of course I will protect myself. But now I'm a bit more, I can't say I'm a bit more open also, because I hardly go out. I work out. Before, if it was like after 9 p.m., I won't take a tuk-tuk. I will actually take a taxi because I feel safer. Working in the hotel, I have late nights, well, at least twice a month. And before, I would actually sleep at the hotel rather than go home because I didn't want to go home too late. But now, my home is my home, so I just really want to go home. If I feel comfortable, then I take a tuk-tuk. If not, if I feel like I'm too tired, then I just want to relax, then I take a taxi. So little things like that. But now, I think it's easier also for me now because the friends that I made when I first moved here, they all have left Cambodia already also. So I guess I'm forced to be a bit more independent and rely on myself more, but not be overprotective of myself as well. Yeah.
I think Philippines and Cambodia, they share a little bit or more cultures together.
Yeah.
So is there like moving to Cambodia, is there like any cultural shocks?
Not really. A little bit on, let's say, my expectations in terms of skill level for people I work with. It's not the same as, let's say, the people I work with in the Philippines. But again, Cambodia education system, it's relatively new after Khmer Rouge, right? So I think it's just taking time to develop the people I work with, like the people in my team. Most of them, all of them, to be honest, are like fresh graduates, or like when I started working with them, they haven't graduated yet. Maybe that's one of the, not really culture shock, but that's one of the things that surprised me, that everyone started working while they were still in university. I don't know, like when I was in university, all I thought about was studying. Yeah, I did not think about working at all. But maybe I'm blessed because, my parents were able to put me to school without me having to worry about anything else. But I'm so surprised sometimes at how resilient the people here are. Like, can you imagine having to work on your degree, having to do a full-time job and all that? Like, I could barely focus on, not barely focus, but, for me, my life during university time was just that, school. Yeah, I mean, a few extracurricular stuff, but school was my priority. And here, like the the resilience of the people or the strength of the people in being able to go to school, get good grades, pass the national exams, and be working full time at the same time. That's like, wow. I don't think I could have done that when I was their age.
Would you say that it's kind of hard or a little bit difficult working with the Cambodians here?
Initially, it was a bit hard. Not just because of the language barrier. Everyone I work with, my team especially, they speak good English. There's still sometimes when, let's say I give an instruction and I say like, hey, you have to do this, 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 this. And I assume they understand right away. Because if I say that to my team, let's say before in the Philippines, they would understand right away. But here you kind of have to explain a little bit more the context. And maybe it's not because it's not an intelligence thing. It's an exposure and experience thing. A lot of the people I work with, like I mentioned, it's their first jobs. I guess I got used to working with people back home who had like a little bit more work experience already. I have like 15 years of experience over them. I have learned a lot of patience because I cannot compare my experience in hospitality to their experience, right? So it's as the manager, it's actually my duty to teach them about or to share with them about my experience so that they can move forward in their careers also. Difficult in a sense that, we're different experience levels, but in terms of culture, I think we're good. Yeah, so far, like my team now, they taught me something or they've taught me a bit about Cambodia, Cambodian culture. I've shared with them about Philippines culture. Most of the words I know now in Cambodian or in Khmer are because of them. I've taught them a few Filipino words as well. So no, it's just about the experience, not really the culture.
How about the language?
I guess I'm lucky that I'm surrounded also by people who can communicate well in English. My Khmer is very tik-tik only. I know directions and all that, like just so that I don't get lost. Like with the people I work with, especially here because we are in the hospitality industry. So most of the team speaks English and understands English. If there is some communication issues, usually what they would do is they would speak in Khmer and then one of my team will try to translate. But like some of my team, they get scared because they think I understand Khmer. Because when they speak in Khmer, sometimes I will reply and I'll say like, oh yeah, you're right. We should do that. But it's not because I understand the words. It's because I understand the context. So I don't know, like maybe there would be some words they would say that I understand the meaning of, but the whole sentence I don't really understand. But because I know what they're talking about, then I'll just say, ja, nangay, nangay. And they will start, like I think they will always tell me like, Kyra, I think you know Khmer, you're just not telling us. And I'm just like, yeah, just be careful when you speak Khmer in front of me because you never know. I actually understand if you're saying something about me.
Can you speak Khmer now?
No. What
How
can I
about introducing yourself in Khmer?
Well, they taught me this, but I'm trying to remember how to say it. How to say it again? Like, knyong, there's one more word in between. Chimo. There. Okay. Knyong chimo Kyra. Knyong mopi Philippines. I think that's the most I can say. I know how to say chamtik.
Good. You've tried. I think because you mostly work with people that speaks English.
Yeah.
No, like maybe like 20% native communication.
Yeah. Maybe 10, 20%. Yeah. But I mean, I won't speak of it or speak Khmer a lot, but I will be able to understand some of the words. There are some words actually that are very similar to Cebuano, the language of the city where I'm from. When you say like tini and tinu, right? Like tini is here, tinu is there. And so when I'm in the tuk-tuk and I need the tuk-tuk to stop, I just say like chap tini, like stop here, or tinu, which is stop there. And in Cebuano, it's diri and dintu. So similar. And susday, saksabay sounds very Filipino to me. So like the words that are familiar to me, I can say, I can't do a full conversation definitely, but I can understand a bit.
What is your first 6 months like transiting to Cambodia system, cultures?
Hmm. As I said, it is a little bit scary for me, mostly because, again, I was unfamiliar with the country and the culture, right? But also very exciting. Like, I was experiencing so many new things. I was experiencing, like, events, my first Khmer New Year, my first water festival. And, I got excited about all these things. I arrived around September. September when I first moved here. So I did get to experience the water festival. And, of course, I was very happy with all the long holidays. My colleagues, my friends at my first job, one of them was a planner. Like, she loved planning trips. So during my first 6 months here, I actually was able to explore a lot of different places in Cambodia because of her also. So I think it was good, like a little bit sad, especially during Christmas time, because Christmas in the Philippines is a big thing. Everywhere you feel Christmassy, and Christmas is family for me as a Filipino. So being here on my own, yeah, it wasn't that great for me at that time.
I can relate because of course where I'm coming from, Christmas is one of the biggest holiday, when you get to see your family, your friends, your old time friends.
And eat all the good food.
Yes, we cook the best meals.
Exactly.
And coming in this country, coming to Cambodia, seeing that no one even celebrates Christmas, Easter, as a Christian.
Exactly.
There's no Easter celebration. There's no Christmas.
No Christmas.
On these days, everyone is working, everyone is doing the thing. And that is like, my first year was like, I was like super excited. Let me see what Christmas is going to be like. And I was so super disappointed. I remember calling my mom. My mom was like, how was your Christmas and everything? I said, oh, these people never celebrate this. These people don't celebrate Christmas. It was like, even I remember that first year it was raining. I was like, oh, Christmas Day, it was raining. Christmas Day. This is like totally
depressing. It's a little bit sad. But like for me, like every Christmas now, I try to bring a little bit of my Filipino Christmas vibe. I give gifts to my team, my colleagues, some of them. I decorate my home, and I make sure I cook myself a very good Filipino Christmas meal. And if I get the chance, I get to invite some other people over. So at least, there's some celebration feel to Christmas. Yeah.
I think I do the same also.
Yeah.
When you mentioned about cooking, inviting your friends, I think because most of my friends here, we are Christians.
Yeah.
Friends from my country, other country elsewhere.
Yeah.
Most of them are Christians.
Yeah.
So during Christmas, we know ourselves. So
Yeah.
we make plans. So we go out. We call our friends. Say, where are we going today? Did you cook anything?
Yeah.
We mostly. I remember every year we contribute money and buy one goat. We share it among ourselves. Then make sure we prepare good jollof rice.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
We take our time. We cook.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah.
We drink, have fun.
Yeah.
But this is for us. But for Cambodians, they don't.
Yeah. But what I do since I moved here also, since I work with young teams, right? So I still make a celebration out of it. Just because they're also kind of like basically my family here also. I spend most of my time at work. So my team becomes, my family. We go out for lunch or dinner to celebrate Christmas, even if they don't celebrate it. I try to give like a little gifts so that it's not technically for them, it's for me. So I feel Christmassy. And yeah, cooking really good food, sharing drinks, of course. That's one way we cope.
I think compared to last 5 years, 4 years, it's much better now because unlike before, when you go out the street, you will not see all this Christmas lights. But now,
there's a bit,
developing it. You can when there's Christmas, you can see the Christmas decoration outside. But unlike before, it's like no.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But now it's more. They're trying to advance.
I think especially in hotels because there are a lot of Western guests in hotels.
Yes.
So
this is not this is actually from companies. People business owners, individuals. I don't think they don't have time for this. They only know Khmer New Year. Khmer New Year, they don't play, they don't joke with Khmer New Year.
True. It's funny though, because the friends I had when I first moved here, none of them were Christian or Catholic, right? I was the only one, but we still celebrated Christmas together, like with each own country's way of celebrating Christmas, which is quite cool. Like for me, Filipino style. So of course I had my Christmas tree, some food that I would cook or prepare for Christmas, and then one of my friends was from Kazakhstan, so she prepared things differently. My other friend is from Montenegro, so he prepared things differently also. So it was kind of cool. Like it was a mixture of cultures celebrating something that, we all loved but did not celebrate the same way.
Yeah, I think that is the best also.
Yeah.
At the same time, you experience different cultures.
Yeah.
Which is not, we don't see this at home,
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of special.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I think that's one of the things I like about living abroad and meeting people from different countries, because there's so many things I don't know about a lot of countries. And now that I've moved here and I've met people from different countries, it's kind of cool to learn about their traditions and their cultures also, like a little bit more about their country, like countries sometimes that, in my youth I never knew about or I never thought about visiting. And now I want to visit these countries as well. So it's cool.
What are the pros and cons living in Cambodia?
Okay, pros first. Well, I have a job here, which is a very big pro, and because I'm earning in US dollars, so when I convert it to peso, I get more value. Yeah. So moving to Cambodia, I've actually been able to save a bit more money, which as a person who doesn't really save, it's good I don't know, like I guess I've learned to become a bit more independent here. Because like I mentioned, like I only have myself to rely on, right? So I've learned to, yeah, to become a bit more independent, to maybe have a better or stronger mental and emotional health. Learned, a lot more about different cultures, learned a lot more patience, definitely. More about myself, actually, no? Like, it's really just about being able to grow a bit more and mature a bit more since I moved to Cambodia. Like, when I was back in the Philippines, I did not even want to think about working out or my health or exercising. That was like, for me, that was like, nah, I'm just gonna work and then I'm gonna go out drinking and then go back to work. But since I've moved to Cambodia, I've had more opportunity to take care of myself. So I've quit smoking. I barely drink alcohol now compared to before anyway. I've finally started like working out. I do Pilates now and all these things, and I feel so much healthier and so much better. I don't know if it's Cambodia or if it's just me in a new country. Yeah, I think if I didn't move here, I would have just continued doing what I was doing back home. But here, because I have a lot more time on my own, I have a lot of time for more introspection, a lot more time to think about my life, I guess. Yeah.
You've been here for 3 years.
Yeah.
Is there any Philippines cultures that is different with Cambodian cultures?
Christmas, number one, I guess. Not really, not much. Relatively similar. Like in the Philippines, and the culture is you respect people, especially who are older than you. In Tagalog, we say po, like which is similar to the bong here. In terms of, let's say, the friendliness, similar also. Helpfulness, similar. Hospitality, similar. A lot of similar things actually. So that's why I don't feel super homesick, except again on Christmas time. So no, I think very, very similar to Philippine culture.
If you could take anything out from Cambodia but the Philippines, what would that be?
In terms of culture, you mean?
Yes.
I think it would be, it'll sound weird, but how much Cambodians respect their culture also. Like even for the younger generation now, like based on my personal experience, right? They still know a lot about Cambodian culture, a lot of the history, a lot about the arts, Cambodian arts like the Apsara dancing. I feel like the Cambodians are more respectful of this history. A lot of the younger generation especially, I would say they're not very familiar anymore with the history and, traditional cultures in the Philippines. But again, I'm not speaking for the entire nation, okay? Like these are just like the people that I am exposed to, I mean. For here, like the people I work with are very conscious about Khmer traditions and culture. And, I just had a meeting the other day where the team I work with, they were explaining the meaning of the hand movements in the Apsara dance, or just like hand movements, like where they really bend their fingers, and I can't do it. Maybe if you ask some of the younger people in the Philippines, if they still know the history behind, let's say, some of our national dances or national practices, maybe they won't know anymore. Is how Cambodian, even the young Khmer, they still know and internalize their culture, their traditions and culture. Some of the younger generation, I guess, in the Philippines are more about the modern, Western life. But here they have some Western characters, or let's say they have absorbed some of the Western culture, but are still very respectful of their own culture. It's like a very good balance, right? Like they are very Khmer and they know about their history, they know about traditions, but they've also absorbed some of the Western culture that's a bit more part of the modern culture now.
Is there any Cambodian habits that you are seeing yourself in now?
So back home, back in the Philippines, I was a workaholic. So I just worked. Even after work, I was working. When I moved to Cambodia, it was a little bit, I guess this is the culture shock then, now that I'm thinking about it. It was a bit weird when, for me anyway, when people stopped work, when work stops. Like in my experience, you don't stop until the work is done. At first, I didn't like it. Like it made me feel like not productive. But now I understand and I am integrating that into my life, that you can't just keep working. You have to have work-life balance, right? I respect the working hours that we have, but I also respect the non-working hours of myself and the people I work with. I don't know if that's a good thing.
One of the interviews that I did before,
Yeah.
one of my guests said the same thing.
Yeah.
Work-life balance stuff. She's a Singaporean.
Yeah.
So it's like working.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
they say that Cambodia don't want you to call them after work.
Yeah. Of course, being an ex-workaholic, at first it was weird for me to not have any work after work. But now I've learned to relax, give time to myself, which may be contributed to my health and my well-being now. So it's good.
What do you like about living here and working in Cambodia?
Work-life balance. There you go. Yeah, I guess it's taught me how to balance my life. Working in Cambodia also, it's helped me learn more about the culture, about the country. I've been able to meet a lot of different people from different cultures, different countries. What I like about Cambodia also, it's taught me how to relax a bit, like, and not just. I'm also scared that I get too relaxed because I still have career goals and I still have life goals, and I'm just worried that I will get so used to the way of life here that's a little bit more chill that I might just make this my comfort zone again.
So would you say is a 50-50 good, not good?
Yeah, it's good and bad, like, and I get why a lot of people love living in Cambodia also. Because especially if you come from a country where everything is fast-paced, living and working in Cambodia is like taking a breath. It could be a negative if you get used to it. You get used to the way of living here and you lose sight of your goals. So that's what I tell myself also. Like don't get too comfortable, I guess.
What do you think about the cost of living here?
Relatively, when I first moved here, I thought it would be cheaper. But now that I've been here 3 years, it's relatively the same as the Philippines, more or less, some things. Like rent, let's say, because I choose to live where I live now, because I feel safe and secure where I live now, I'm paying a little bit more than what I actually pay for rent before in Manila. But it has an oven, so that's my excuse. No, rent is a bit pricey here, to be honest, especially like for smaller cut. Like you would think they wouldn't be that expensive, but in some areas anyway. I mean, I don't have a moto or a car here, so I can't really say about gas or something. Tuk tuk, it's convenient, it's cost effective. But food sometimes, and clothes, and for women makeup, it's hard. It's a bit pricey because they have to import it, I guess.
My last interview I did, one of my guests also said the same thing in terms of food.
Yeah.
Compared to Thailand.
Yeah. Vietnam, yeah.
It's a kind of expensive. So in the comment section, there was this guy that explained, saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Mostly because they import They don't produce it here. They import things outside from Vietnam, from Thailand, Malaysia. So that is why it's a bit expensive, like you said. So
Yeah, and it's a bit harder to find a few brands or a few items that I was used to seeing everywhere in the Philippines. But when I come here, I can't find it. So when I do travel outside Cambodia, like if I go travel to Thailand or Vietnam, then I do a lot of shopping and like stock up for the next few months or something. But like especially I think for women especially, and I've heard this from other expat women also, like some makeup brands are not available here. Good underwear is so hard to get here. Some toiletry brands are a bit difficult to get here or expensive. So it's nice to have like women friends or women contacts who say like, oh, I'm going to Thailand. I need to travel to Thailand, next week. Let me know what you need. And just give a shopping list. Send ABA. All good.
do you like my food?
Some of them, yes. They're relatively similar also to Filipino food. My favorite is beef loklak. Yeah, but I also love I don't know how to call it in Khmer, but the pork rice that is usually served for breakfast, but I can eat it any time of the day. I love the noodles, but it depends also because I don't eat, let's say, internal organs. So like sometimes like I love noodle soup, but sometimes when I do that and I see like a piece of liver or something, I'm just no, I don't eat blood also. So, but definitely beef loklak and the pork rice. Those are my two favorites. There's also a noodle dish. Like I said, I don't remember the name.
How often you travel around Cambodia?
During my first year here, especially, I traveled a lot around Cambodia. These days, not as much. But I've been to Kampot, Kep, Battambang, Mondulkiri, Siem Reap, of course, Sihanoukville, the islands, Korong Korong, Sanum, a few times. Yeah, there are some places I have yet to go, but yeah, I've been to quite a bit, I think. Kep is my favorite. I love Kep. Every time I go to Kep, I feel like I can breathe. Like I feel relaxed. I'm not sure if it's because Kep reminds me a little bit more about of the Philippines. Like where I'm from in the Philippines, we're an island, so we have beaches, less than an hour with traffic from the city. So every time I would feel stressed before, I would head to the beach and spend the day at the beach. So in my first year here, I would go to Kep a lot, actually. Maybe one weekend a month at least. And just as soon as I get there, I just feel relaxed. I feel like I can breathe. I take a deep breath and I smell the ocean air. And it's just like, I'm good. And the food is so good in Kep. I'm a foodie, so I love food. I love the seafood, the crab market. So it reminds me also of home of Cebu because we have something similar. But there are some very good Western, especially Italian restaurants in Kep. I'm a big fan of those restaurants as well. I love that you can just cross over to Rabbit Island and be at the beach and relax and just be on a hammock and spend the day at the beach.
What do you like about Cambodia?
I like how easy it is to explore Cambodia. It's easy to travel to other places in Cambodia, in my opinion anyway. Like if you drive, you can take a moto or a car if you want to. You can take a minibus, you can take a bus, you can take the train, you can take a private taxi. The train is actually a very good experience also. Both positive and negative, but it's an experience. So it's, within 2-3 hours, you're somewhere else and you get to experience Cambodia again. And yeah, in Cambodia, life is a little bit more chill. So yeah, you get a little bit more time to relax. The Cambodian people are like super friendly and helpful, but still respectful. If you get what I mean, like it's not overly friendly, let's say. I think in Cambodia, just I feel like everyone's smiling. Like I love seeing like the tuk-tuk drivers setting up a hammock inside the tuk-tuk and just, you know, taking a nap. I love how, you know, everyone's enjoying food by the side of the road and just like enjoying being with friends and family. Again, it's very similar to Philippine culture. So it doesn't make me feel like I'm a stranger. Yeah, the Cambodian people are very nice people. Very similar to Filipinos, yeah. Cambodians, well, the Cambodians that I meet and interact with anyway, is that they're very open to learning. They're very open to knowing more about different things. So yeah, they're always smiling, very friendly. Of course, you know, you can't expect everyone to smile all the time, but I guess similar to Filipinos sometimes, like even if you're not having a good day, you don't express that unless that person is really bothering you. I had a friend from the Philippines visit me last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. And she said the same thing. Like it looks like the Philippines. It feels like the Philippines. It's just that the language is different. Yeah, and there are no Catholic churches. Well, not a lot as compared to the Philippines. Yeah.